Welcome back to Wickerson Studios. I've been back teaching for a while, and I just wanted to go over a bit of the headspace I'm in right now. And I thought possibly this diagram that I generated, even though it's not the script that generates it, will show you kind of where I am and the limitations of my thought and where I hope to go. For most people who've gone into Rhino, they learn very quickly the Rhino 3D modeling program. I've kind of have this as an inverted pyramid apex here as to where I've gotten to and where I hope to go. 3D modeling comes pretty naturally, whether you enter this through parametric modeling or computational programming or things like that. The GH Node is fairly interesting in Grasshopper if you get into it and you start scripting in that way and take your node scripting into traditional scripting. And C# is where I've really been able to get into Rhino common namespaces and start to produce geometries. So constantly I'm going from Rhino modeling as a teacher through teaching Grasshopper parametric modeling and into computational modeling that I consider the GH node and C# node essential for doing that. I've got a little error here I need to get rid of. It's a 3D model. Basically, I'll jump over here so you can see how messy it is. But then in doing so, it's not great to look at. I'm interested in optimization, and I've done that through my own choices. And here's an example of how I have produced a series of C# nodes that I can kind of make choices through. They're kind of like a filter or a bottleneck. And it's like as I make choices of these scripts and add to other ones, some of them may be transformative, some may be geometry based, some may be generating data and numbers, some may be manipulating that data through conditionals and using all the programming kind of basic skills or random numbers, whatever is in here, making topographies from reps and things. But in the end, I kind of start a project with a bunch of those choices. And I like to start with gene pool, which is making me think I like optimization. But those are very physically making choices. So this shape here, as I change it, it's going to take a little bit to run. But as I start to optimize that, the object over here, which is why I had my view here, is it's a three-dimensional kind of line-based information system that I can start to play with because of my gene pool. And it's going to run through a preserving branch structure, C script, that I've generated and found online or customized. I'm going to go through partition the list inputs, which is another C# node that I've been generating. And that's to learn C# or learn GH Python nodes. So that's where my capabilities are kind of excited about learning. And as you process the data, you will start to generate geometries and points. This is a method point distance. I've got some traditional nodes up in here, rotation, which I guess I could have as a C node. And then I do some transformations on those points, and then I create some NURBS curves from them. I create other NURBS sets, and in the end, I end up with these two geometries that I can kind of play with. And I don't mind this one. It's kind of an interesting structure. Now, in my mind, I'm actually doing it the slowest possible way to consider what this might be as I optimize it by looking at it and play with the gene pool. So I'm playing with the parameters. And where I want to go, and this is where this really flips on itself. I've been good at building a foundation of modeling, learning parametric modeling, and learning computational studies and pushing myself with C#. But because I'm trying to make things I like and trying to make them relevant to certain things, I'd like to know more about optimization. Not sure why I got rid of this other line. Let me just copy that, slide a version down here because I like that dividing line. The generative model is where I see a lot happening online, where I've been asked to find out, kind of coexist with, lose a little, set up an autonomous system that kind of makes decisions set to my own parameters. If you use an example of like windows and doors set within architecture, and then I need to know more about machine learning, definitely know more about artificial intelligence, and by that time start thinking about neural links for myself. So you can see where this explodes out into what I don't know and I'm not confident of. But this has been a hard game for the last 2 years of learning to this level, but now trying to transition through and make my scripts actually matter. So you're going to see videos from Wickerson Studios that constantly are in rotation here, but periodically I'm going to be jumping into optimization, generative modeling, might go into Rhino in the Revit, take a look at Dynamo, take a look at Rhino in the Revit, take a look at some of the plugins that actually play with optimization, and try and get past the gene pool. So that's where my head's at. Michael Wickerson at Wickerson Studios. If you want to stay tuned and see where this goes in the next term at school, but certainly throughout the summer, I'm hoping in a year's time or a few months' time that I'll have a much better handle on this. I do have a handle on my own scripts, be it GH Pythons or Wickerson Studio custom nodes. but where can this actually have significance, and where can I coexist and collaborate with data and let decisions be made by the computer? So there's my headspace. It's not fully, nailed down, but that's where I hope to be going. Thanks very much for watching. Wickerson Studios.